Astro Boy, come here.
Hi!
Is that the way Astro Boy would answer me? I would like to do and see if I can probe your memory and find out if you can remember exactly the way Astro Boy would speak.
No.
And then try and remember how Astro Girl would speak.
I can't do Astro Girl.
You can't do it?
I don't
Really?
Astro Girl is very high and I can get there.
You're there. That's good.
And then I would like to know if we were to switch series.
Yeah, and I were to become Inspector Blooper.
Oh,
yeah, and you would be Jimmy Sparks.
Oh, Jimmy Sparks.
Jimmy Sparks.
Oh, Jimmy Sparks I can do. Go, Gigantor. Come on, Gigantor, go.
Oh, my, there he goes now.
Oh, I forgot Wilbur.
Yeah, how could you forget? I threw up all over the studio. Oh, my.
I started to get hair on my chest.
I remember that dream I had, yes.
And then there's Kimba. Kimba talks just like Astro Boy.
Well, what was the difference between Astro Boy and Kimba?
The difference was
You were more
Astro
mechanical.
Boy was a little boy, was more of a, had a childish way of talking. He was more like this.
Yeah.
And Kimba didn't talk baby talk. He just had a high voice.
That's right.
Yeah. Kimba wasn't as infantile.
Yeah, that's right. He used to talk with Daniel Baboon.
And then
remember Bucky? Yeah, he used to talk with your dad.
The hedgehog, Harvey the hedgehog.
You like
That's
that
my
one,
favorite.
How about Daniel?
Daniel Baboon, that's what I was saying.
Oh, do
Oh,
Tulip.
and how about
Do
Samson, the water buffalo? Yeah, he was way down there.
Oh, gosh.
Do Tulip, the giant.
Oh, yes.
Well, no, I think I used but it was kind of dumb. Yeah, it was dumb, and the big voice. Yeah.
Catch it to
And his mother pushed him around a lot.
Yes.
Hold on,
Go, Tulip, go. How about the bean seller?
I don't remember what it did.
I just remember that he was sort of wily, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he sort of was a little bit nasal and sort of pushed.
I know a great one. What was the name of the guy in Kimba? He was a pelican, and you did him like...
When
Yes,
I
when
I was in overhaul.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Very much so.
You've got to do Viper's Snake Clip. You remember the one who shot Kimba, the big white hunter? He also...
A man?
Slight cock. Yeah, with slick back hair.
He was...
Slight cock.
You remember?
It's like Cockney, that sort of thing, was it? You got a high voice?
Yes.
Yes, of course, that's what it was. Righto. Awesome.
Were you?
Very good.
I like him there, yes. I used to do other... I remember doing Andy Devine for something.
Andy Devine. Andy Devine.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, fuck, you know what I mean? With a cracking voice.
Yeah. Killed him.
Wait a minute.
Couldn't talk for a weekend.
Yeah.
I want to hear this.
Hello there. Yes, you remember there was some characters that I used to do like this?
That was a nice one.
Now, say here, I would also do that sort of thing. What was his name?
He had two names. He had Uggapug
Uggapug, yeah.
and Abo Gorilla.
Righto, yeah.
Why do you use the same voice for two people? Come on.
Two different series.
That was so he could collect double things.
Were you Inspector Gumshoe also?
No, that was
Gil.
That was Gil.
Gil.
His side part, I did his sidekick though.
Chief McLaughlin.
Blooper. And
Yeah.
Chief McLaughlin.
Oh, righto. No, it was a...
He was a...
Shouldn't be good. It was an Irish accent that he had with it. That was what it was. Yes, he was a partner of Gumshoe.
Gumshoe was just sort of a plain...
Ned
Sparks sort of thing, yeah.
And Gil was also the young man who built Gigantor, wasn't he? Doctor.
How about the mammoth? Do you remember the mammoth, Sonia?
Oh, yeah. Kitty. I remember.
Yeah, do Kitty.
Who did Kitty? You're kidding! I didn't know that.
There was really a lot of trouble with getting Gil's parrot voice ever.
Yes, we couldn't settle on that.
Mostly because Fred had one image in mind and Gil had another, and never the twain would meet.
Well, Gil was doing a voice that was just so much like a parrot. It was a real parrot voice. Fred kept saying he couldn't understand it. So that he had to lower it.
That's why it says in your notes, keep it low. It says parrot voice, keep it low. You did Harley Cheetah.
Yes.
And you did some others, too.
With what was it, Roger?
Roger Ranger.
And he did Wind in the Desert, the guy that dies.
James Braun.
James Braun, yes.
The wind is, the wind, let's see, the moon shines peacefully, the wind is cool, and that was marvelous. And it says, I'm going to rest right here in the sand. Beside me, my friend. And that was when he turned from great fade out to represent death.
Yeah.
That was one of the classics of all time.
That was so fun. And that one of my favorite names I made up was in that. The bad guy was named Robert Barron. I love that.
We bought our summer house that year.
Grasp and Grab, too.
Yeah, Grasp and Grab.
And Billie Lou would be writing inside where it was dark, in the Belmont Hall, right? And I would come out, I would be out in the sunshine on the front porch typing after she had written the script. And we had just moved to the meeting.
Don't bother Mr. Studer, he's right.
I'm just typing up.
I love it. Oh, gosh. Who did Tick and Talk? Oh, boy, and I
wrote that character, but I don't remember who.
You and Gil.
I know you did. It was sort of a scratchy.
What were they?
It was almost an Andy Devine thing, and it was used in The Veil of the Vampire for one.
What were the characters? What did they look like?
They were reporters. One was a very chunky, round-looking guy. The other was a very tall-looking guy, and the two were sort of a Abbott and Costello type situation. Tick and Talk, and one of them meant, it's like, I can't do it. You know.
Who did Tom and Tab?
Tom, he did Tab. And I think Gil did Tom.
They were the hyenas.
Those were the hyenas.
That's two funny hyenas.
Well, you did Tab.
Yeah, but I don't remember what I did.
Yes, that's great.
That's
everything up in there, was it?
Yes, it was up in that type of thing. And you did it.
One of the favorites I remember is when they went to it was like the United Nations, only we called it something else.
League of Nations.
League of Nations. Is that
that was what you called it.
And they solved some big world.
What it was
that the dolphin?
No, what it was there was a great asteroid going around, and they figured it was going to careen into Earth, and so they figured out that it wasn't. There was this great decision thing. As it turned out, though, it turned out to be made of ice. So they figured, okay, no problem, it's going to melt before it hits the atmosphere. Ironically, Elephant, you did a marvelous thing. He was going, I see. He was demonstrating with a magnifying glass
for the solar system
around the Earth, and all of a sudden the thing burst the globe into fire. He says, a convex lens. And he goes over and he suddenly realizes that the ice was melting into the form of a convex lens. It was going to set the whole world on fire. As it finally ended up, Astro Boy ended up taking all these rockets up, jammed them nose down into the ice,
I remember doing
and
that.
went around and wiring up each one of them to ignite all simultaneously. Whoop, beep, whoop, beep. And he finally was just about running out of power, and he had just enough to hit it into his chest and ignite all these things and blow it out of the room. Gosh, what a classic.
And every time I shoved one in, I went, along with asthma. I was getting hemorrhoids.
Did you have to do a retake on this?
Oh, probably. Fred said, one more time. I wish you could have seen Fred.
Your Fred in the studio is ridiculous. I mean,
you're
16 takes. And he said, perfect. One more time. And you do another 16, you know?
A true director.
I wish you could have seen him.
I would
By the
love
time
to.
we got to Kimba, your life must have been easy.
Because he was
Sonia
busy.
and I were directing.
Yeah, he was out of the studio. We've gotten rid of him, finally.
That's very funny because I remember hearing an interview. He said, I stayed with Astro Boy right from the start. I was in on top of it. But Kimba, I couldn't stay with. I had other things to do.
Yeah.
You know,
At that time, he was developing, what was the name
Ringo.
of it? Ringo.
Ringo.
We did Ringo. And he also did the horse racing with
Oh, yeah.
Singer.
Yeah.
And the other the series of the little kids.
Little Adam.
Oh, yeah.
Little Adam, right? That was very
Bubblegum,
successful. Yeah, that's right. The bubblegum gave him the strength, and then he would
That was
go
a
like
good
that.
idea. But by that
And they tried to sell it to
what
Wrigley.
happened? Was Kim in color?
Yeah.
Kimba was.
Oh, yes. It was the
This was one of the things that killed NBC too, is that Mushi asked a hell of a lot more for Kimba because of color than they did Astro Boy.
I'll bet you they did.
We did 52, and NBC still owned another 26 that we did not do.
Yeah.
They had more. They had much more.
Where are the other 26? We've been trying to track those down.
No, NBC had them.
Oh, shoot. Those are the ones with Kimba developing into...
It became full...
there goes my part.
He became his father, yeah.
No, not at all. You would have been Rooney, which was Kimba's son.
Oh,
Also his wife.
as long as he had a son.
And his wife, yes. It would have taken. He took over
Kitty.
the series. That was a funny thing because Kitty became his wife in the series.
Yeah.
And she evolved and aged.
Yeah.
And Rooney took over the series as a sort of a secondary Kimba.
Rukio became Kitty. It was like they had Kimber and Kitty as daughter and
They were
son.
completely interchangeable from generation to generation.
Exactly.
Did you ever see a series called Super Jetters?
Super Jetters, that was the name of it.
You saw it?
I like that one.
Vaguely, but I'm trying
That was
to
the
remember.
four of us.
Maybe I missed it.
Remember that? We did
Hey, Rob.
Huh?
That didn't sell either. We did two
Where'd you
pilots.
see it?
I don't remember. I saw one episode. I don't know where I saw
I probably
Japan.
mentioned it to you.
Because
You might have said
I
that
mentioned
might
it
have
to
been
you.
it. That
Maybe
probably
you
was
saw
it.
Japan. We
I
did
thought
two
that was
pilots.
good, yeah.
I thought that was very
That
good.
was
And let's see, you were Colonel somebody in that. You had white hair and you were a commander.
By the way,
Yeah.
I'm going to pull your brains a little bit. When I talked to Billy on the phone for an hour and a half,
I couldn't believe this from the coast.
Well, now we see her in
Must
person.
be crazy. Now I know he's crazy.
oh, of course, I have to be. So, I talked with you on this before, and you can't remember it. Maybe Ray will. That is the one Little Norse Prince. Both of you did that. You played Hulse, and you played Rock
I don't
Band,
think I did it.
and Corinne Orr was in on that one.
See, I don't think I was in the Little
You remember
Norse
that?
Prince. That's one of those early ones for Caitlin, wasn't it?
No, I never.
You had a sort of a Jimmy Sparks voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really just sort of came away. It was Toei Productions, and you played this sort of weird rock. At that time, you had that big booming voice. And you did the Corinne Orr did the heroine.
Yeah, I think so. Corinne Orr.
I read it.
No?
No, she didn't arrive on it.
The truck.
This was after.
He said it was later.
This
It was later.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, this was later.
I seem to remember it, and I can remember
I
all of
remember the
that.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ice and all
That's
of that
it. Yeah,
stuff,
that's the one.
and
That's
they
the one.
chased
Gold
the
and all that jazz. And the great chase with the wolves.
Was it a
that
feature-length cartoon?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember doing a Treasure Island, a version of Treasure Island.
We did a couple of versions. We did like 3 versions
I
in 1
did
year,
one.
I think.
I only
did
did
those?
one.
I
mean-
Corinne and I were a little boy and girl.
And I was John Silver.
Oh, I guess I was, what's his name? I was the regular kid who was in Treasure Island.
You were,
Hawkins.
Jim Hawkins. Right, and they added a little girl. They added a little girl to the story, and Corinne did that.
Marvel.